What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be working on replacing the transmission fluid pan in my girlfriend's 2009 Hyundai Sonata. They are very prone to rusting out, and it has been starting to leak on my new driveway, so let's go ahead and get that replaced. Alright, so I just pulled out the battery. Didn't film it, but you're going to disconnect your negative terminal, then your positive. And then there is this bracket right here that sits like this and just clamps the battery down. So once you undo the this bolt and this bracket, you should be able to just pull the battery out. I've already started draining the transmission fluid, so you can see my nasty gasket right there, and you can see where it's dripping right here. It's a big 24mm bolt and a washer, so just go ahead and drain it. Obviously, you have to pull out the plastic belly pan, which is just, 8-10mm screws. Now let's go ahead and finish removing this battery tray. So we're probably gonna have to remove the airbox. As you can see, there's a bolt right here that's gonna keep that, that's gonna prevent the battery tray from coming out. So let's go ahead and disconnect the airbox. To get your airbox off, you got 4 clips here, 1, 2, 3, and then 4 right here. So just unclip those, and then you should be able to take the top off. Don't forget to undo this hose clamp right here. I guess this whole thing is going to come off with it, with the airbox. So you just undo this clip right here, and this should pop out. Just like that. Same with this side. Pop it off. Maybe. Okay, so once that's fully disengaged, it should unclip. So once that is unclipped, let's hit that bolt right there and that bolt right there. So now we got those 2 bolts out, and then you can see that this hose right here, this guy right there, there's some tabs in here that's keeping it all connected. So we're just going to push in on these and pop it through. This should come right out. So now, with that all out, we have access. Should be able to get this battery tray fully out. Might have to disconnect a few things, but basically we want access to the top of the transmission fluid pan. You can see the dipstick right here. So yeah, let's start by undoing these 4 bolts right here. Okay, so let's get these 4 12mm bolts out. Okay, so this piece right here, which attaches to the rest of the battery, the positive terminal, you could just slide this out like so off the battery tray. Just like that, and then your tray should come out. Looks like there's another little wiring harness right here. Okay, there you go. Got it. So yeah, it just unplugs right here. Here's this connector. You just push down right here on this back part with your thumb, and then that should pop off. This guy is clipped in. Just squeeze down on this. Okay. And that pops right out. That's connected to the harness. So the battery tray comes out. We now have access to all of the top transmission bolts, or top transmission pan bolts. So all we have to do is just unbolt this guy right here, this bracket, which holds all these positive terminal wires in place. Should be a 10. So now this comes off, and then now the pan should be free other than getting those bolts off. Again, the transmission's already drained, so I can go ahead and start getting these bolts out, which may be easier from the bottom. I'll try to get all the ones from the top that I can, but yeah, there's a few of them. I'll count them up later, but you should be able to access all of them from here. They are 10 mil, so okay, so we'll just slowly go around trying to get all these bolts out. I'm not going to film it because I'm going to be going back and forth from underneath the car and up top, so let's get all those off. Let's go ahead and get these bottom ones off so we could drain what's left in the pan. Okay, let's go ahead and torque or get our drain plug put back on. Just get that on so it stops dripping. I'm not gonna torque it down quite yet. Alright. All the bolts are out, so now I can just hopefully whack the pan off. Still hold on by the top. Okay, so once I got everything loose and pried off at the bottom, I just took my extension and a socket and just took my dead blow to it and hit it from the top, and that broke the seal on the top free, so it should come down now. There we go. Fun. Let's have a look-see. Okay, so you can see we now have the pan off, so all we gotta do is just scrape off all this gunk, get it all prepped up for a new gasket, so always a good time. Well, let's go ahead and get it scraped off. Probably not gonna show it on video because it sucks. Alright, so I grabbed some of this Permatex automatic transmission gasket maker. It's got this maroon cool color to it. So I went ahead and got the pan, the transmission casing free of as much previous gasket as I could. Got it all cleaned up using electronic parts cleaner, just because there's a lot of sensors in there, so you don't want to use full-on brake cleaner, but it should be clean and ready for this stuff. Alright, so let's go ahead and spread a bead around your pan. Make sure you get it cleaned. I just use some alcohol, but make sure it's clean and degreased. Okay, so they've got a bead all around, so let's go ahead and throw it in the car now. Alright, now the hard part's gonna be not getting fucking silicone everywhere. Just make sure everything's hand tight. We're not gonna torque it yet. We're gonna wait an hour for it to cure. But just make sure all the bolts are tightened down. Just hand tight. You know, nothing crazy. Just snug them up. Okay. While we wait, we'll go ahead and torque our drain plug. The torque spec on this is 20 to 24 foot-pounds. Although I saw in all data that the torque spec was closer to 29 foot-pounds. But transmission fluid's thick, so we'll err on the side of caution and just go with the lower torque value of 24. Alright, I'm going to get everything torqued to spec. According to all data, it's 9.4 to 10.8 foot-pounds. I'm just going to torque them down a little bit and then go from there. Okay. That's all of them. 15 bolts. So I'm going to increase the torque spec to what all data gave me, which is 9.4 to 10.8 foot-pounds. So I'm going to probably do closer to the in between that. So I'll do 10 foot-pounds. All right. So the middle is about 120, 121 inch-pounds. So I'm going to go 121. Okay, so just make sure you got all your bolts, and that's it. We'll let that cure overnight, about 24 hours before we put any fluid in it. It's been about 24 hours. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything put back together, and then we'll throw some fluid in there. So let's start with the battery tray. Pop this connector back in here. Okay, that's good. Don't forget to plug in your harness. Okay, harness is plugged in. Ooh, almost forgot to attach the rest of the wiring harness. This little bolt here that attaches to the transmission pan, don't forget about that. Let's do that first. Or let's do that next before I bolt in this pan, or before I bolt in the battery tray. It's good and tight. Alright, so now let's go ahead and get the tray bolted in. These don't gotta be super tight, just snug them down. Let's go ahead and get the box back on, and we'll start by getting the this little plastic tube inserted into here, and then we'll line up this hole and this hole right here, this top hole right here. This little plastic piece should just pop right in, just like that. This should line up with the positive terminal bolts right there, and then you got this guy right here, up here. So let's go ahead and get this guy connected real quick. So let's just push that in, and then should just clip in like so. Make sure it latches. Same with this one right here. Push it in all the way, and then latch it down. Okay, that's good. Let's go ahead and get those bolts in. Good time to change your filter if you haven't in a while. Okay, just pop on like that, and then get that in and push in those 4 clips. Airbox is on, and don't forget to tighten down your little hose clamp right there. Tight enough. Before we do the battery, let's go ahead and just throw some fluid in this, just to make it easier. So I'm going to go ahead and measure out how much transmission fluid was drained. I've got this bucket right here. It's got liters and fluid ounces and quarts, but I'm going to go ahead and measure out how much I drained out of the pan and the transmission, so I know how much, so I know roughly how much to fill it up with. So we're at 3.5 quarts, just about 3.5 quarts. So cool, we'll go ahead and put just under 3.5 quarts and check our fluid level. So I've got some Valvoline Max Life multi-vehicle transmission fluid. For this particular car, make sure it is SPIII compatible, which it is. If you can see it. Hyundai, Kia, SPIII 3, 4, and 5. SPIII 4, sorry. But got that. Got my funnel right here. Okay, so what it looks like I drained about 3.25 liters. So I'm just gonna put 3.25 liters from this into there and then check the level. So let's go ahead and throw the battery in real quick. Let's go ahead and get the mounting bracket on. Cool. Battery's on. Let's go ahead and throw the battery terminals on. That's on there. Okay, let's go ahead and get the car dropped down. Okay, car is on the ground, so we can go ahead and check the level. It needs to be checked while hot, but I'm going to check it while cold. Let me check it. I made sure to shift between all the gears, and I'm in neutral while checking. Okay, so it's very low. So let's go ahead and add some fluid. That should be plenty, so let's go ahead and go for a drive and we'll check back. Alright, so I went ahead and drove around for about 15 minutes. So I'm just going to check the fluid a little bit more. Okay, so here's the cold, is this first one right here. The hot one is right there, so we want it to be somewhere in between, somewhere in the hot. Looks like we could add a little bit more. So we're right at the bottom of the hot mark, so it takes about 1 pint to raise the level from the low to the high, so that equates to half a quart. So let's go ahead and add just under half a quart. Okay. Alright, well that looks pretty decent, so that wraps it up, guys. Not too bad of a job. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Thanks for watching. Peace.